You know, whenever somebody tells you that a new prospect might just be one of the best guards John Calipari has ever coached, your antennas immediately have to go up. I mean, think about the names on that list for a second. We are talking about guys like Derrick Rose, Devin Booker, De'Aaron Fox, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That's a legendary pedigree. So when people start throwing Darius Acuff Jr.'s name into that exact same conversation, you don't just brush it off, you pay attention. Fresh off leading the Arkansas Razorbacks to an SAC title and putting up an absolutely ridiculous 23.5 points and 6.4 assists per game as a freshman, Acuff just heard his name called at number 7 overall by the Sacramento Kings in the 2026 NBA draft. Honestly, he's undoubtedly one of the most naturally gifted and polished offensive player entering the league right now. But the real question is, can his elite scoring package outweigh some pretty glaring defensive red flags? And how exactly is he going to fit into a Sacramento lineup that already has plenty of mouth to feed? Let's just sit down, cut through the hype and really talk about what the Kings are getting in Darius Acuff Jr. Let's start with the physicals, because out of all the guards in the lottery, Acuff might just have the best frame of the bunch. He's listed at 6'3", about 185 pounds, with a 6'7" wingspan, but honestly, he plays way bigger than that. He's got this sturdy, almost bully ball type of build. He knows exactly how to use his upper body strength to just absorb contact and bump smaller defenders off their spots. And when you combine that brute strength with his shifty movements and a crazy quick first step, he creates space basically whenever he feels like it. If your team is looking for a true lead guard who can just go get a bucket when the shot clock is winding down, Acuff takes the cake. He's a pure, certified free-level scorer. I'm talking about a guy who makes incredibly tough shots look like a casual shoot-around. His absolute superpower though, the floater. If you watch NBA basketball today, you know how important the in-between game is. Being able to drive into the paint and float it over a 7-foot rim protector is a mandatory skill, and Acuff already has it down packed. If he's not getting all the way to the rim, he's stopping on a dime and fisting in the mid-range. Now, he did take about 6 3-pointers a game at Arkansas, so he can absolutely space the floor, but you can just tell he is way more comfortable operating inside the arc. And as we see every single year in the NBA playoffs, guards who can consistently get to their spots in the mid-range and the paint are the ones who survive when the game slows down. Acuff already has that veteran pacing to his game. Now, I know what you might be thinking, a freshman who averages over 23 points a game, he's probably just a volume scorer, right? Just a microwave guy who only cares about getting his own numbers. That's the biggest misconception about Acuff. The gravity he commands on offense naturally opens up his playmaking, and the fact that he averaged 6.4 assists per game proves that he's actually willing to make the right basketball play. Even more impressive, he had a near 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. For a 19 years old carrying that much offensive responsibility, that level of decision making is pretty special. In transition, he's always looking to pitch the ball ahead and push the pace, which fits the modern NBA perfectly. But his half-court passing might actually be his hidden gem. Because defenses are so terrified of his pull-up jumper, they constantly try to double him or trap him at the pick and roll. Instead of forcing a bad shot, Acuff has this awesome vision to just casually dump it off to the roll man or whip it to the open guy in the corner. His pick and roll offense is already superb. But look, we have to keep it 100% real here. For as brilliant as his offense is, his defense is, well, it's his biggest weakness by a mile. On paper, with a 6'7" wingspan and great athleticism, you'd think he'd be totally fine staying in front of his guy. But on film, it's a different story. He constantly takes bad angles and just gets blown by off the dribble. His pick and roll defense is honestly a bit of a mess right now. He really struggles to fire through ball screens, which means his big men are constantly forced into tough situations. And he's not really blowing up passing lanes either, averaging less than 1 steal a game. Honestly, defensively, it feels like it's more of an effort and focus issue rather than a physical limitation. He has the tools to be decent on that end, but he's really going to have to work harder in the big leagues, because NBA guards will hunt him every single night if he doesn't tighten that up. Also, on offense, while his shot making is amazing, he does sometimes fall in love with taking crazy difficult shots when a simpler pass is right there. Refining that shot selection is going to be a key for his efficiency. So let's talk about fit. Sacramento grabbing him at number 7 is super interesting. When you look at his game, he really reminds me of a mix between Emmanuel Quickly and the young Lou Williams, maybe with a little bit of Tyrese Maxey's downhill aggression sprinkled in. The Kings have been needing an influx of dynamic, young talent, and Acuff gives them exactly that. Think about him sharing the floor with guys like Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine. Sacramento has veteran talent, which means Acuff doesn't have to come in and save the franchise on day one. He can come in, run the second unit, operate as a secondary creator, and really learn the ropes without the pressure of being the number one option. If he's playing off of Sabonis handoffs or spotting up while DeRozan goes to work, he's going to get incredibly clean looks. At the end of the day, Darius Acuff Jr. has one of the highest, most scalable offensive ceilings in this entire draft class. The scoring is real, the playmaking is highly underrated, and his confidence is off the charts. If the Kings coaching staff can just get him to buy in on the defensive end, they might have just landed the steal of the draft. But I want to know what you guys think. Did Sacramento make the right move taking Acuff at 7? And do you think his elite scoring will translate right away, or will his defensive keep him off the floor? Let's argue about it in the comments. Make sure to drop a like if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button for more deep dives, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.